On the third day of his official visit to the Republic of Serbia, Lieutenant General Said Shingriha, Chief of Staff of the National People's Army AMP, met on Wednesday in Belgrade with the Serbian Defense Minister's Assistant for Material Resources, Nenad Miloradovic, where they reviewed the means of partnership development between the two countries' armies, before visiting the booths of the International Exhibition of Armaments Partner 2021. The Lieutenant General also visited an armored vehicle and artillery manufacturing plant belonging to the Serbian group Yugo Import, where he visited its various workshops and inquired about all the production phases. In this regard, extensive explanations on the various production of the group were presented to him and the accompanying delegation. He also held a working session with the CEO of the Yugo Imported Group in the presence of its executives. The general underlined that the High Command of the National People's Army gives all the necessary interest to the cooperation with the Serbian armed forces in order to bring it, both qualitatively and quantitatively, to a level of excellence based on trust and a mutual respect. On the sidelines of the activities of the International Armament Exhibition Partner 2021, Lieutenant General Chief of Staff of the AMP visited the Yugoslav History Museum, where he observed a minute of silence in tribute to the late Yugoslav leader and former President Josip Broz Tito. He also visited the various departments of the museum, where he was given explanations on the contribution of the non-aligned movement in supporting liberation movements around the world before signing the museum's guest book.
On the sidelines of his participation in the proceedings of the 39th session of the Executive Council of the African Union, the Foreign Affairs and the National Community Abroad Minister Amtala Mamra met in Addis Ababa with Musa Faki Mahamat, Chairman of the African Union Commission. Foreign Affairs and National Community Abroad Minister Amtala Mamra met with his Zimbabwean counterpart Frederick Shava. The two sides discussed issues relating to peace, security and development in Africa and agreed to work to protect the supreme interest of the continental organization and to enrich the common African agenda.
On the eve of the 93rd session of the Executive Council of the African Union in Addis Ababa, the Foreign Affairs and the National Community Abroad Minister Ramtan Lamamra was received on Wednesday by the President of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia, Mrs. Sahli Work Zudi, to whom he conveyed his greetings and a message from the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, on the strategic partnership between the two countries. The two parties also discussed the latest developments in the region and the continental level.
The work of the 39th Ministerial Session of the African Union's Executive Council kicks off on Thursday in the Ethiopian capital Addis Ababa, in the presence of the leaders and officials of the AU Commission and ministers of 55 member states of the Pan-African Organization, under the theme Arts, Culture and Heritage, the levers to build the Africa we want. This two-day meeting will see the participation of representatives of regional economic communities and mechanisms. The Foreign Affairs Minister and the National Community Abroad, Ramtan Lamamra, accompanied by a large delegation, will participate in this session of the AU Executive Council.
The General Directorate of National Security Services thwarted a plot dating back to 2014, a plot hatched with the help of the Zionist entity and a North African country in complicity with members from inside the country. The parties were preparing to carry out armed operation on Algerian territories, according to digital evidence and the suspects' confessions obtained through preliminary investigation. While the search operations made by the judicial authorities and the suspects' houses found documents indicating continuous contacts with the Zionist entity's institutions, as well as weapons, military equipment, inciting banners belonging to the terrorist organization MAC.
The Interior Minister Kamal Beljoud presented on Wednesday before the Committee of Legal, Administrative and Liberties Affairs the bill determining the electoral constituencies ahead of the parliament and municipality elections. Kemal Biljoud discussed with members of the legal committee the content of the bill in accordance with certain provisions of this law. For her part, the Minister of Parliamentarian Relations, Basma Azwar, put forward before the same committee a presentation on a draft law containing the organic law on military personnel.